So improving as a chess beginner, that is probably one of the easiest things to do, especially if you've been stuck. All right, so here is my own example. Okay, here I've basically decided, okay, we're gonna do a one-on-one call that is going to cut all the unnecessary information that exists, and we could just focus on what really is relevant. And I leveled up from 737 all the way up into 1400. I basically reached that cap, okay, in approximately 2 months, from the end of June, beginning of July to the beginning of September. Here, I had the same problem as you have right now, where you're just looking all over the place for so much irrelevant information. If you want really to save the time that it takes to actually reach from 700, first link in the description, start with the first example, okay? And you're gonna get this very soon. Okay, you're gonna understand it. It's pretty easy actually when you get into it. So white have just done a bishop from f1 to b5. It is a miss. It's not the reason that you're actually stuck. There is another reason which happens immediately after this. Let's just talk for a moment about how black was thinking. So black was thinking, okay, I'm right now being checked with whatever thing is possible. Usually they don't really move the king, they just block. And so you probably see this as a beginner, and I'm assuming again you're 700, 800, still a very beginner, but you've still been playing like for a while. Black thought the exact same thing like you, and he did the move bishop to d7. That is a blunder, and it's a mate in one, actually. And why is this a mate in one? Well, white can just go knight to d6, okay? And there is literally nothing you can do to stop that mate. This type of issue, if you're right now 700 or 800, this problem, this blunder happened for two players who were 900, okay? So they're better actually than you, and they face it. Beginners, okay, they're still beginners as a 900, but all beginners, they're facing problems that are like this. This might be quite an exaggeration, but for every beginner, blunders, they are the core reason that they're stuck in. That is the reason that you're stuck in. Let's now move to the second example, and just to really prove this, I will say, go to your archive, okay, of all the games that you're playing chess in, and just open the past 5 games and see how many times a blunder happens. How many times basically a move, basically, with this 2 question mark type thing, how many times does this happen? If this happens more than once, it is the reason that you're stuck as a beginner. Alright, so for our second example, we had again 2 900 rated players, okay? I'm giving you examples from players who are a little bit higher rated than what you are likely to be, because that really is going to make you understand, okay, this is the problem, and in order to level up, we need to cut this down. C takes d4, okay, there was a pawn he took, very good, okay? Knight to c6, bishop to b5, again, a fine move, okay? Probably not the best, because this pin doesn't do much, okay? But still, a fine move, okay? No complaints if you're a beginner right now. Don't look at this. Black decides to check. He does queen to a5. Okay, this is a check. He checks the king. And now, I want you to stop and think about the move that you should do if you are white. Okay, let's just flip the board. Right now, black checked you. What is the move that you as white should do? I hope that you've paused this. Here, you probably think under check, so I need to figure out some way to defend this. You're right, okay? Never forget that this bishop is basically under attack as well. And so you have two problems, and you can solve them. Not just that the king is being attacked, but also that the bishop is being attacked as well. White obviously have seen that the king is under threat, but he neglected that the bishop is under attack as well. The bar immediately goes into black's favor, because black, he just took the bishop, okay? You also need to understand one more thing in order to improve, actually two, in order to counter blunders. If you're going to make a blunder, your opponent is going to see it. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it is most likely that this will happen. This is the first thing. As black here, you see that your opponent makes these blunders, and you need to utilize these as much as possible for your own advantage. And so this, for an example, one is a one mover. That is the move that made black win this game. Let's go few moves back. Right now we think, okay, I understand probably that blunders, this is the main reason that I'm stuck, which is, by the way, a huge progress from before. But now you're going to have a question. Okay, I understand that blunders, they're the reason that I'm stuck, but how do I actually solve this problem? And the solution is very simple. So we can do this, okay? And you're also going to get a little bit better, okay, in other aspects of the game. You can ask yourself three very, very basic questions that will cut the process and make you an elo jump. We ask three questions. So the first one is, how can we improve our own position? The second one is, how do we hurt our opponent's position, if there is a way to do this? Okay, and the third question is it a blunder? So if is the move that we are planning to do a blunder? Is it gonna lose a piece? Is it gonna get us mated? Something like this. Let's say for a moment that you are white. You see this and now you think, okay, how can I improve my own position? I'm under check. The only way that I can improve my own position is if I develop a piece. So for example, I move my bishop here, okay, or I move my knight here. I can do this, but it doesn't look like it's going to, in a way, improve my position, because it's not going to do knight to d2 like this. So now we have a few moves that we think about. How can we hurt our opponent's position? We can't really hurt our opponent because still we're under check. It's fine if sometimes you can't really improve your own position or damage. It's just important that you ask these things and actually try to figure if it's possible. The second thing, we were thinking, okay, I'm gonna move my pawn to b4. We are under check, and I'm gonna do this after the queen moves again a lot of queenside space, okay? Now we ask, is it a blunder? You're looking over the entire board. That is how you're gonna figure out blunders. This is a blunder. And it is a blunder because if I do this move, pawn to b4, he could later on take my bishop with the queen, and that is going to make him winning. So immediately you're going to discard a move like pawn to b4, and you're going to think, okay, is there a move that can also develop my position, okay, develop a piece and defend this bishop? This is also a blunder, whilst it does improve your position. There is this move, knight to c3. If white would have done this move, he would have been completely fine. In fact, a little bit better as well than black. But that is how you solve blunders. That is how you improve your chess game as a whole. And that is also how I leveled up from 700 to 1413. That's how I basically almost doubled my elo in the span of 2 months. There's three basic things that we can do right now to help you in this. So the first one is the thought question process. You can take a note, something like this. It doesn't need to be that big, just very close to you. And you can write, okay, how can I improve my own position? How can I hurt my opponent's position? And is it a blunder? We write this and we put it somewhere very close that we can see the next time that we're going to play chess versus whether bots or other players. This is the first thing that we do. And in this way, you're almost like forcing your mind to basically think this. The second thing that we can do immediately after this, the second thing is immediately to play versus bots, and specifically bots that are a little bit better than what you are right now. If you're going to play versus bots who are a little bit better, this is going to force you also to ask the third question, is it a blunder? And when I say bots that are a little bit better, I mean like 1300, 1400, bots that are that better than you. And you're going to practice this thought question process before every move, and literally like from move 1 all the way to the end of the game. Before every move, you're going to ask this. That is going to make it a lot more natural for the next times that you're going to play chess. Try this versus 3 bots. The thing we can do immediately after this is, now that we have practiced it versus bots, now what we can do is we can play this versus actual players, done the thought question process in a specific area properly, and I've forgot to do it in somewhere else. Now it's time to really play versus actual players to test this for real. I've done precisely that. Okay, this is the tasks that an actual like international master rated in FIDE gave to me, I remember this day very good, exactly here. On the 23rd or 24th, he gave me this, and honestly, I was shocked. That made my Elo jump. Like, take a look at this, from 800 to 900 to 1000, like almost in a few days. That is how good it helped me. If you want to level up, not just as a beginner, but also all the way into a strong intermediate player, this is the first link in the description, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.